This is the render review for the Blender Challenge restaurant, and in my case it was the Abandoned Diner, so I've called it that here, but it is restaurant in general. So I'm going to show you the various renders that were submitted on the ZeroBio Discord and talk a little bit about them. So here's the first one. I remember this was posed to us on the Discord as a challenge to try and figure out, what the name of the restaurant was as this person was modeling and texturing it. And I don't know if anybody actually got it. And I've actually never heard of this restaurant. But here we have a nice render under a starry sky, darkly lit, a dark scene. We've got a nice brick texture here and the sort of cement tile floor. We got some damage in there. The lights, as you can see, they're not just emissions. There's some grunge on there or some dust on there. So nicely modeled and nicely textured. And I know that this individual tends to do all of his texturing in Blender. Maybe they use Photoshop a little bit. So using image maps and procedural textures and creating normal maps and stuff like that. So there's a lot of work that goes into it. I have a couple more views of this. So it's the broken, however you say that. Okay, I like this wood texture. It looks really grainy. So it's sort of gone for a high height or normal on many of these textures. All right, and just another view. You can see this, and I believe this was done with some transparency. I'm not actually quite sure, but I have a feeling this is not all geometry to make those sort of wire back parts of the chair. All right, so very nicely done with the decal on there, or the decal, as you guys sometimes like to say. A lot of people chose to do diners, not everybody, and so here we have an interior shot of the diner. And I had done stools and stuff, but I mean, as soon as you look up diner, you're going to get a lot of the same kind of stuff, these sort of typical red chairs and tables. But you can see that there's some different designs, things that I didn't see. I really like this floor, beautifully done. You got a jukebox in the back, so even modeling that would take some work, and to put on the gradations or gradients anyhow of the colors or emissions. All right, so there's a lot of detail in this right here with the posters on the back as well. All right, we've got a couple of images of this, so from another angle, another perspective, all the way to the mustard and ketchup, and I'm not sure which one this is, some syrup or something, and the napkin holders and the table with a little bit of fingerprint like grunge on there. Same thing on the counter here, so it's not perfectly shiny, and then all of the various details around the room. So very nice, bright scene. I believe there's one more image, so we can see the stuff behind the counter as well. Okay, even with the memory, and it's Stewart's Diner. Okay, very cool. Another dino diner, with the mustard and the ketchup. Again, looks like salt and pepper shakers and a napkin holder, and very nice table and chair. These chairs are very nicely done. Okay, and with the benches, and you can see again a little bit of dirt or grunge in them, so they're not perfectly shiny. We've got two clocks. They look like they're showing the same time, so that's good. A serving area down here, or wherever you would put, whatever you would put back there. But anyways, yeah, and you can see again, with the checkered floor, you've got some marbling type effects, but you also have some dust and dirt and stuff to make it look well used. So that's excellent. And good color scheme as well. It's very pleasing to look at, all of these renders. Not everybody had time to finish, but this was going in a really neat direction. Here you can see with the parking lanes where you'd come in here, and just a really cute building. And it's too bad, but I mean, people are working, people are going to school, and also doing the challenges. And even though it might not be finished, I wanted to keep it in And just because it's a really neat design, and it's that's the thing that I love about 3D. It's creating that world that you feel like you could almost walk into it. Walk in the door, and what would you find there? So yeah, just very nice. Okay, this is Marley's, and going for the isometric view, but we got our nice brick wall and our nice wooden flooring, and then you've got the main server or waiter or waitress, whatever, up there, watching over the host, whatever, looking over. But you got 3 tables. Now let's check out these chairs with the blue or teal and pink, and this one's got the pink and yellow, and then yellow and blue. So everything is mixed, and then matching with sort of the colors of the posters as well. Very creative, artsy style posters. And of course, if you run out of ketchup or mustard, we've got some more. So that's cute. I think I have one more image of that in there, another little close up to see the quality of the modeling. It's very clean, very very tight, and nice texturing job on that as well. And this floor is looking really good. Yeah, the whole thing really comes together in terms of the color scheme and the textures used, so that you get a pleasing scene. We've all come a long way in our journey. If we go back and we look at some of our early modeling and texturing jobs, we continue to get better at it. And I think we get better because of the Discord as well, when we're showing things that people are complimenting or making comments about this or that in terms of the texturing. Very nice. Now this looks like a real product shot, doesn't it? We got the noodles in there with the eggs. I know my wife loves this stuff. I don't mind it at all. I probably couldn't use the chopsticks very well, but look at how nice those are modeled and textured with that stainless steel kind of look on the cutting board, or whatever you want to call this, and on a background as well. And everything looks really as it should. I mean, the I don't know if you'd call this porcelain or hard plastic dish, really looks like it is that material, and the noodles look really realistic as well. So, some people, when I give the theme of the challenge, really stretch themselves in terms of what can I do, because some people are going, okay, well, I'm not going to make just a standard diner. I'm going to try to come up with something different. And this person always does that. It's almost like an inside joke. Whatever we're going to do, this person is going to stretch the bounds of that and come up with something that is not necessarily what you might have thought. I think that's cool. And same person actually was doing an interior shot and didn't have a chance to finish it, but we really liked the way this was going, the direction this was going. I don't know, it looks like something out of a video game to me, and it has that artsy style to it, and I just thought it was really cool, and it should be kept in. So I know we're looking for final renders, but sometimes we got to use what we've got and give credit where credit's due. So that's a neat one as well. And I think we have a few more isometric scenes here. So we got this cafe with the fans on the ceiling with some pipes or cables, and our umbrella up there, and we don't have one there, so it's not perfectly symmetrical, and you can see inside. So there's work done on the inside. You can see a person and a poster, a table with tablecloth, nice folds by the way, and chairs. And of course, the construction worker's coming by for his coffee. Looks like he either finished his plate or there's an extra one there. And then this guy's there having his coffee as well. But I mean, the chairs look really nice and look at the grass, just gorgeous grass. And I really like this cobblestone. I don't know if you call it cobblestone, but just it's got some real bump to it. It's not too much that makes it feel realistic. All right, let's look at another one. All right, well, I had decided to do I guess, abandoned diner, and so a couple people also did that. I think this is the same person who did the other isometric one. Don't quote me on that, but nice tiling floor here, and again that very distinctive 3D grass with the trees here. You've got the fire in the barrel. All right, so I had done some barrels. This person, did them their own way. Same thing with propane tanks and wooden pallets and some garbage cans stuff. Look, we got this. Reminds me of one of the challenges we did with the open sewer here, and some of the same stuff that I did, but modified to this person's desire, I guess. So then with the smoke effects, and of course there's a zombie there. So that's a really cool isometric one, and an indoor scene. So let's have a look at this, because sometimes the renders come in and I quickly look at them and say a couple words, but I haven't had a chance to really examine them. But this floor is just looking beautiful. I like these doors. They just match the snazzy feel of this restaurant. I got to admit that it's kind of weird when we see these places empty. It's not like, The Sims or, one of those kind of games where or the restaurant kind of games where you see them filled up and people going back and forth. They seem eerily empty, almost like, I don't know, it makes me think of the old movie, The Andromeda Strain. I don't know if you know that. I believe it was Michael Crichton a long time ago, where there was a strain of, I think it was a virus or something that came back on a satellite or a rocket ship or whatever, and everyone was being killed off by that. So, and there's any number of those kind of apocalyptic kind of mass destruction movies, but it just makes me think of, I Am Legend, maybe, with the mannequins, whatever. I'm not saying that in a bad way by any means. Don't take it that way. But just with the emptiness and perfectly standing still. Of course, it's not animations. It seems kind of spooky that way. But anyways, all the tables and chairs are there, and everything is laid out nicely. And there's this back wall is all these food things, And then we've got some posters there, and a bathroom or a kitchen or something like that. So, the isometric stuff is really neat. And of course, there's some damage on the surfaces as well. Very nice. And this is really a really stylistic approach here. Somebody was nice enough to name it after me, and it's really nice. It looks like the cover of a magazine or whatever. So all the nice modeling and the nice soft texturing, and the glass looks cartoony, realistic, whatever, if that makes any sense. And it's just this is a cute thing in the theme. So I like that style as well. All right, so let's have a close look at this one here. Please wait to be seated. And there's nobody there, but the place is run down. Looks like the glass is broken and boarded over, and the sun or moon light is coming in. And I'm not sure what these are. I just can't tell in this image what they are. So I apologize for that. But it's definitely got that foggy, mystical, apocalyptic look, with all of the dirt all over the place, grungy, deadly kind of look, which is very reminiscent. I mean, obviously this makes me think of The Last of Us, or any number of, post-apocalyptic computer games. But that's what it makes me think of, and I think this person really achieved that look in this particular view as well. So I like stuff like this quite a bit, because it's one thing to do the modeling. Modeling always looks nice and clean. We put on the cavity shader and throw on the shadow and maybe a matte cap, and then to be able to texture it and have a cohesive scene, it brings it to another level. It requires an eye for art and the skill for using the software, however it was done. And so it is a challenge, and therefore I like the results quite a bit. Let's see what else we got here. All right, so there is the diner as well. All right, this person has done some of the similar things, but gone their own route in terms of their color scheme and how they textured it. But they also threw in some other objects. They've got the stools that you would have found in there and the chairs and stuff. I think the windmill turned out really well, in the background. Look at against this crazy sky and these, trees in the background and the vegetation all throughout here. And of course, you've got the environmental effects of what looks like God rays here and fog. So it's definitely that rundown kind of apocalyptic thing, which is how I introduced my part of the challenge anyhow. And so I think with the success of games like The Last of Us and Uncharted, I'm just thinking Naughty Dog here, I think people really like that look and want to try to achieve it. And this is how we practice going about that. So, yeah, I think the diner looks great. It looks well modeled and textured and brought into an environment. And we talked about vegetation in some of my vlogs. For the longest time, I didn't do any of that. I would have had the diner sitting on a plane or just modeling that, and that's good enough. That's fine. But for this post-apocalyptic kind of scene, I was keen on going ahead and using some downloaded assets. I'm going to assume that's what the vegetation is, and I think it makes the scene. Without it, if we said, I'm not going to use anything that I didn't model, I think the scene would be lacking. And I imagine you probably feel the same way. So anyways, that's a great looking diner. And we have another diner out here. All right, again out in the Arizona desert or whatever, with some of the same kind of objects, but done to a personalized taste. You can see that this diner looks somewhat different than mine. This one actually has an open door, and it looks like it's been cleaned out by scavengers, taken all the furniture, it's been gutted, and it looks truly abandoned and dead, doesn't it? Out in this environment. Okay, and I like how the road comes down here, and you've got the car. Just sparse amount of vegetation also gives it that look with the sun either going down or coming up. So yeah, that looks fantastic. And here's another one. So I really like the fact that people decided, okay, let's do the abandoned diner. Let's do the post-apocalyptic kind of look, because then we get 3 or 4 different varieties of this thing. I mean, look at this. This one has the windows and the glass like you would often see in diners. All right, it's got the lights up here. I don't know how well you can see those. All right, it's got the lights. It's got the broken glass and the kind of siding that you would often see, or I saw in a lot of images when I was researching this, as well as the broken glass on the door. Even the I don't know what you call that, the cover here, the shelter thing. It looks, and it could just be the perspective I'm looking at, but it looks like it's a little slanted, so things are off. And then, of course, yeah, I modeled a barrel, and I modeled a wooden pallet. But, this person has said, you know what, I'm going to do some buckets. I'm going to do an old generator. I'm going to do the waste bin and the fence and the lamp. And everything pretty much comes together nicely against this nicely textured ground here with some vegetation here and there. So, we get a really interesting effect. It would be easy not easy, but it would be reasonable to hide this in darkness. I think it takes a lot of courage and skill to put your image in the light where we can see it quite easily. But manage the light so that there's some lights from here. You can see the light reflecting off of the metal and glass or whatever here, and you can see it here, and you can see it here going onto the ground, rather than just having this sort of overall sort of ambient skylight, and that adds a real nice touch. It makes it interesting. Anyways, let's look at another. We have a couple of images of this. Okay? The modeling is great. The texturing is great. And the lighting just works for this image. I think without the point lights, I believe, here, and the light, just wherever, and especially on the ground and illuminating the barrels or buckets, I think I would miss it. I know I would miss it. I don't think anybody's coming to this diner anytime soon, though. That's for sure. I like the toppled over light as well. And I believe the vegetation, I think the vegetation was done with biomes, which is an add-on or a scatter or whatever you call it exactly, that can scatter plant assets. I think I have one more of that. All right, it's pretty similar. Just you can see just slightly more of it. Almost from a front kind of view. All right, but definitely, it looks desolated, even just the way things are tilted and broken and falling off, and that's how you do that. So, yeah, cool. And keeping with that post-apocalyptic look, this one definitely looks abandoned. Okay, and that's because of the graffiti and the pieces of wood falling off and the piles and piles of tires like that, and really rusty, rundown trash bins, and the old eaves trough here, and the dirt and grime, and the fact that there aren't any lights. I mean, you'll see mine, and you may think, well, why did you have lights there? I don't know if I could explain it, or I'll probably tell you why I did it, but when you don't have that, and you have this mist, then the power is off. This thing is shut down, and it is abandoned, and everything looks that way. And the vegetation and the broken windows and the graffiti on the thing and the dirt. Yeah, looks really cool. And this one came to me quite close to the end, and I was surprised to see this and thought, hey, what an awesome idea. The something kitchen, and it looks like an old super fast train, high-speed train that's been, I'm going to assume, converted into a restaurant of some sort. Well, that's what I get from this. If it wasn't for the sign, I might have just thought it's a tourist attraction, whatever, but it is pretty run down. But that's a really neat idea. Of course, I have seen diners in old buses, and obviously there are diners in real trains. So if the train is broken down, whatever, there was a diner there. But I had never seen something like this, so I thought that was very creative. And obviously, it looks with the style of lighting, it looks quite impressive, quite grungy, and just the way, like, if these are the parking spaces for the customers here, just the way you got that turn, if they were all straight, it's all too perfect. Yeah, so that looks real cool as well. And this is my stuff. I've just got two images here. I've got the diner, which I did the video on, and I've already talked about my renders as well, but you've seen a lot of the same objects in some of the other images, and I just had decided that I needed a bit more light as well, and so I ended up doing the diner sign, and I didn't have the time to grunge it up and break it, and the same thing went for the street light. And then I've got these tube-like things around, just because I wanted to have a bit of light on it. But it is in an environment, and it is sort of a fantasy kind of look. I'm not really going for realistic. Essentially, I'm kind of going for that computer graphics look that you would have in some games. just by nature of, I think, the game engine itself and how it handles materials and lighting. And so that's what I was hoping to achieve, as opposed to making, everything look so realistic. I'm not really that interested in that. So there's one view of that, and I've shown you these before, and there's the other view. And we laughed about this. It looked like we were in the clouds, whatever. All right, so I won't say more about how I did mine. You can always go back and watch the video for that. So that was the restaurant challenge, and I'm very impressed with everybody's work. And already I'm looking forward to the next challenge. And so I think give me about a week, and I'm going to knock around some ideas, and we'll get to another Blender challenge. If you've never done one, I'm going to encourage you to do it. As you can see, there are lots of different styles in here, and it's open to everyone from beginner to advanced Blender use. You model in Blender and you texture any way you like, whether it's in Blender, Substance Painter, combinations of all that stuff, and you provide a final render or a couple of renders. Hopefully you get it done, and then I'll talk about them. I'll showcase them here on the channel. So thanks very much for coming by and watching. Thanks for being in the challenge. Congratulations, everybody, and we'll see you next time.